So, ladies and gentlemen, wonderful to see you all. For those of you who maybe I've not met in the past, my name is Paul Wright, and I'm the Chief Commercial Officer for the Australian British Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world joining us today. Thank you, those that are joining us live. Obviously, this session is going to be recorded as well, which we'll release on our YouTube channel. So, for everybody else that's joining us later on YouTube, sorry that you missed the live session, but hopefully you'll also enjoy our wonderful session today as well. May I start proceedings by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. As I'm based here in Sydney, that is the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I'd like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. So, welcome to our virtual Meet the Member event for the month of May. We have 10 fantastic chamber members who are speaking for us today. Many of them are new chamber members of ours as well, which is wonderful to see. And they're each going to be having a 3-minute opportunity to give a bit more of an overview about their company, the service that they offer, and obviously a bit more about the type of companies that they're looking towards interacting with as well. You know, these are sessions that we started during COVID when we couldn't do physical events. We had to find another way of being able to get our members to interact with each other. So thus formed the virtual Meet the Member session. But it was so successful in generating those new business relationships and new business partnerships that when we came back to doing physical events, everybody said, no, leave this the way it is, because now it's great. I can obviously market myself much more effectively across the country as well as overseas. So we're looking towards having another fantastically exciting and successful session again today with 10 of our chain members. So each one of our members are going to have a 3-minute opportunity to give an overview of their company, and then at the very end we're then going to open it up for Q&A. So I would love for all of our attendees, or even some of our speakers, to obviously think of some Q&A for the rest of our speakers during that time. But please also do utilize the chat facility that's on here as well. If you scroll to the bottom of your screen, you'll see it says chat. Just click on that, and if you have any questions that you'd like to ask during the presentation, please feel free to use that. We want to make these sessions as interactive as possible. So maybe we'll get started, because obviously we want to make sure that we have plenty of time. And our first speaker, and the reason why he's our first speaker, is because he's currently on a beautiful luxury yacht in the middle of Sydney Harbour. Tough gig, Sam.
Right. Yeah.
But so if it does start moving, as long as it doesn't start sinking, we're okay. So our first speaker from 67 Pall Mall is Mr. Sam Hurd. Sam is the general manager of 67 Pall Mall. And Sam, your 3 minutes start now.
Wonderful. So 67 Pall Mall is the world's first private members club for wine lovers by wine lovers. It was begun by CEO and founder Grant Ashton, who was a banker, loved collecting his wines, didn't like paying for wines in restaurants at 3 or 4 times the price, and his wife didn't like.
Oh dear, has Sam frozen?
Yes.
That's the ship taking off through the harbour. You see, internet on boats. Oh, this is such a shame, Sam. Okay, we might need to hold off until Sam has gone past the heads, when hopefully internet comes back on board. So I'll tell Sam when he comes back on that obviously we'll come back to him. So maybe we'll go to our second speaker. Tim, I hope yes, you are in your office. You've got good internet there as well, as I can only imagine that CoEvolve does have. So our next speaker is Mr. Tim Sullivan. Tim is the co-founder and CEO of CoEvolve. And Tim, your 3 minutes, and please do use the whole of the 3 minutes now. Start now.
Thanks, Paul. And we're delighted to be part of the ABCC. So hello, everyone in the community. Good morning, good afternoon. So a little bit about CoEvolve. So CoEvolve was founded in 2014. To really be a global IT services firm, really specializing in network and security technologies. So what we do is 24/7, we're helping multinational companies all around the world achieve the best quality connectivity and security. So basically, these are crucial services to underpin modern business. Digital infrastructure sits behind all of the services that are traditionally supporting the business, be they ERP or CRM solutions, or new digital initiatives as well, be they AI projects or the like. So really, we're talking about the lifeblood of modern business, and our team is here to really simplify that complexity and really make sure that it performs better 24/7 anywhere around the world. So we're supporting multinational clients of ours in 82 countries around the world on 6 continents. As I say, on a 24/7 basis, we're constantly doing the incident management, the change management. They're taking away the complexity and the time for our clients' in-house teams. So really, the old world of large monolithic telcos and systems integrators really don't move at the pace of modern business. So we've been able to come up with a much more adaptive set of solutions. We've got a telco independent approach, which means we use over 800 telcos and ISPs around the world to ensure that connectivity, be they to business critical factories or call centers or smaller sales offices or remote users working from home or their client's office or anywhere around the world. So really we're about achieving the business resilience and performance and visibility of these services and making that much more simple for the client, particularly as they're embracing multi-cloud operations across Amazon, Microsoft, Google and the like. They're launching new AI initiatives. So the threat landscape for their critical services gets increasingly more complex every single day. So we're typically approaching the CIOs, the VPs of global IT strategy or architecture to really work with them and help them define these requirements. So we're working with mid-sized multinationals, so typically 1,000 to 30,000 employees, and the further they are distributed around the world, the better. We're working with companies in manufacturing like Atlas Copco, where they've got sites in 70 countries around the world, Lend-Lease and Laing O'Rourke in the engineering construction field, professional services clients like Persol, the HR solutions business, or Probe, BPO, micro-sourcing, call center operations. So really critical environments, 24/7. So that's what CoEvolve's here to do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tim. Just about 5 seconds over. That was wonderful. Thank you very much, Tim. Great overview of CoEvolve. Now, did I see Sam? Are you back on the call? There
I'm
he is.
back. I haven't even started drinking yet. My God.
It's the wine. It's the wine in the boats. My goodness. Okay. Do you want to give it another shot?
Now hot spotting in the master
Beautiful.
bedroom.
There we go. Fantastic. Well, Sam, I'll let you go against your 3 minutes. Start now.
We are the world's first private members club for wine lovers by lovers. We're in our 11th year. We began in London, created by Grant Ashton, lover of fine wines, hater of restaurant pricing. So we now operate clubs in London, Singapore, Verbier. We have Bordeaux that will open in September of this year, Shanghai that will open in November, and in Melbourne, we're constructing a 4-level clubhouse. The beauty of what we do is because we are a members club and we take membership revenue, we don't chase profit through the wine lid. So we offer wines at sensible pricing in their optimal drinking window, 5,000 different references of wine, 1,000 available by the glass, 42 countries represented. And so membership with us gives you access to our global network of clubs, as well as affiliate clubs in cities that we're not yet present in across Asia, the Middle East, North America, and Europe. Membership closer to home and overseas gives you access to 4,000 concierge partners, which means best pricing at restaurants, hotels, resorts, and vineyards across the globe. In Melbourne and Sydney, we offer a very active members event calendar, which involve wine masterclasses like our upcoming masterclass with Monchiero Barolo, wine dinners such as Christmas in July this year at Florentino, and featuring a stunning lineup of Ornellaia, Sassicaia, and Antinori wines, as well as our Saturday Cellar Series, which is an opportunity to tour the site under construction in Melbourne. How am I going for time?
Still got another minute.
Oh, fantastic. So membership at pre-opening allows you for advantageous pricing, so you can access that global community immediately, get your foot in the door. We will cap membership at 2,500. We're approaching the halfway point of that cap, and it ensures you that joining now is better than waiting till the doors open. It's a lot of fun, as we all know, because I'm about to take off on a yacht.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sam. That was great. Now, are you going to be able to stick around on the call, or I guess now all your
I'll
clients are
do
on
my
mute?
best as long as technology wins.
Absolutely, yeah. No worries at all. But if you're not able to, it's absolutely fine. We're going to obviously release your contact details to all of our attendees anyway. So I'm sure that Mr. Fred Chilton, who's on the call, he's a big wine lover. I'm sure that he'll be in contact with you as well. So, but for now, thank you so much, Sam. Wonderful.
Thank
Our
you.
next speaker is Mr. Scott Souter. Scott is the National Director, Occupier Client Services at Colliers. And Scott, your 3 minutes, sir, start now.
Thank you, Paul. And look, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Colliers are new members to the Chamber of Commerce community, and look, we're excited from an Australian perspective to be able to contribute. So, Colliers, we're a global real estate business, and when you're running a business, your choice of property shouldn't just be a line item. It's a foundation to your success in a new market, and particularly new entrants into the Australian market. So if you get it right, it accelerates your growth. If you get it wrong, well, it can become a significant roadblock to success in your chosen market. So at Colliers, and my job in particular, is to help you and make sure that you do get it right. So, we're a global business with local expertise, obviously strong presence in the US, UK, and here in Australia. So, we act as a bridge in this instance for, British businesses. We understand the culture and, deep local expertise to help companies coming into Australia and those who are already here to navigate the specifics of the Australian property landscape. So as I've discussed, look, it's a big business, lots of areas. I specialize in occupier services. So specifically, that means tenant advisory services in the office and industrial markets. So in simple terms, like we act exclusively for tenants, not for landlords. So whether you're establishing your first Australian office and need to understand the market, or if you're already established and looking to expand or optimize your footprint, we become your dedicated partner. And our role is threefold. We're here to simplify the complex. We're here to align property with your strategy and secure the best commercial outcomes for you. We'll leverage the market knowledge to negotiate the most favorable terms, ensuring success for you and minimizing risk at all those gateways from day one. Track record. We've got a great track record of helping international companies establish and grow their presence here across many industry sectors and all asset classes. So we're experts in handling unique challenges, and I think we represent a genuine safe pair of hands. So my invitation to you is that if you're looking for an Australian property strategy, either getting a foothold or looking to review something, I'm here to help, and I'd invite you to come back to me and have a chat after the session.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Scott. And it's a great resource to have right there, and a wonderful person like Scott to be able to obviously, give his advice and his personal viewpoint as well. So very much appreciate that. Thank you very much, Scott. Speaking of before is Jenny O'Sullivan. Jenny is the Senior Associate over at Regulatory Services Australia, RSA. And Jenny, your 3 minutes start now.
Thanks, Paul. Hi, everyone. Jenny O'Sullivan from Regulatory Services Australia. We've been chamber members for 2 years now. So it's great, a great networking opportunity, fun at pickleball as well. But Regulatory Services Australia, we don't offer wine. It is not an RSA. Common misconception, a little bit less exciting than that. But we do bring in some pretty cool products into Australia. So we work as a regulatory agent across 3 regimes in Australia where you have to register products and have a local agent or a sponsor for them. So we cover TGA, which is all medical devices, and anything with therapeutic claims, which also includes supplements and some other food products. We work with ACUS, which is chemicals. So anything that needs to go on your skin or be in touch with you. So that could be either cosmetics. We do a lot of work with cosmetic brands out of the UK. And it also is industrial chemicals, etc. So if you've got any people that are looking to bring in chemicals for any sort of engineering applications or anything, as well as beauty brands, medical devices, we can help with that. We also cover a third regime in Australia called APVMA, which is agriculture products and vet products. So some products for animals also need to go through an equivalent registration process with the equivalent of the TGA. So if anyone's got any products in the UK, companies that are looking at coming to Australia, we can help them navigate that regulatory pathway. We do an initial assessment to decide what sort of regime and needs to go through and what the costs and time of entry are. And then we offer other commercial services to help brands enter the market as well. So we can start to help with things like market entry, logistics. We're setting up a very small fulfillment center. And we also do New Zealand. So any products that need to go into New Zealand, we also have a registered office with MedSafe. So we can do that. The other part of the business is called the Warringah Group Services. So if companies are ready to establish in Australia, we can help with incorporation. And my executive director, Piers, he is a non-executive director, resident director for about 30 international companies. So if anyone is keen to establish in Australia, we can help with that. So we like to be able to help from very early entry stage through to getting up and ready and starting to employ people on the ground. We are interested in any other commercial service partners to help people increase their chances of sales in Australia, so marketing agencies, fulfillment centers, etc., that might be able to help companies establish a presence would be great to be connected with.
I'll tell you can tell Jenny's done this before. She had 5 seconds left to go. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jenny. Really well done. Our fifth speaker is Mr. Chris Ackerster. Chris is the business development manager for the wonderful Sydney FC. Very, very exciting season for you guys at the moment. And Chris has been at the helm now for the last, 5 months?
5-6 months, yep.
That's fantastic. Taking great care of myself and many of our chamber members when we've been to go and watch the Sydney FC matches as well. So, Chris, your 3 minutes start now.
Thank you very much, Paul, and nice to be connected with everyone. As Paul mentions, I'm relatively new in post, coming into Sydney FC at the beginning of January. I've worked in football for over 15 years, previously in the UK, heading up Tottenham Hotspur's global football business. So the less we speak of that, the better at the moment. But brighter fields in Sydney here, where I'm heading up the business development unit here at the club. So my role is responsible for everything I suppose commercially, that sort of sits across multiple layers of our football club through traditional sort of commercial partnerships and sponsorships, supporting our football development side of the business, and then working closely with our brand and marketing team to enhance our brand strategy and who we are as a football club, not only here in Australia, but also into Asia. So for those of you who may be UK based, we compete in the Australian Professional Football League. We're one of the most successful football clubs in football history here in the country, and are leaders in developing talent for both the local game as well as going into international fields. My role here really is around building those commercial partnerships. So the beauty of working closely with Paul and his team is to build that network for us as a football club. Ultimately, on a match day, we want to get bums on seats. But from a commercial perspective, it's how can we engage with each other's networks, create opportunities for us to be a vehicle for you and your brands or your organizations to speak to new audiences or speak to a captive audience. So we have multiple platforms that allow us to do that. Not only here in Australia, but further afield, where our aspirations, pending success on the pitch, would take us into Asia through a couple of Asian-based football competitions, the Asian Champions League Elite and Asian Champions League 2, which is what we are striving to do year on year as a football club. That sort of lends itself to how do we buy and sell players better? How do we be better connected into the football market? And how can we connect with brands who may have an appetite to enter Australia and Australian brands who may have an appetite to enter into Asia? So if that is you or your networks and your communities, we'd love to have that conversation. Like Paul and his team, we'd love to be able to host you at a match day if that was also of interest with your companies. But yeah, happy to continue to network, and being a member has been a fantastic opportunity for me coming home to engage with new people. So yeah, greatly appreciative for all the opportunities so far, Paul.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris. Well said. And Jenny, there you go.
There we go.
Sky Blue. She's trying to get some free tickets out of you.
I did try to cheer loud from the stadium on Saturday night, to be fair. Some missed opportunities.
It was. On to Saturday, Jenny, on to Saturday.
But no, we're delighted to, as Chris said, have Sydney FC as partners of ours. And we're actually going to be working very closely with Sydney FC on a fantastic World Cup event just in time for the Football World Cup. I think it's exactly a week before the start of the Football World Cup here in Sydney. So hopefully we'll see many people along to that as well. So thank you so much, Chris. So we're halfway through our speakers at the moment. So as I say, I'd love for people to start thinking of some great questions. Want to make it as interactive as possible towards the end, but also, as Jenny has so wonderfully done here as well, please utilize the chat facilities for any comments or any questions inside there as well. So thank you so much. Speaker number 6 is Mr. Andrew Baxter. Andrew is the founder and senior associate of 24-Hour Business Plan. And Andrew, your 3 minutes, sir, start now. Where is he? He was just on here before. There he is. Andrew, how's your internet going? Good? Now you're mute.
There you go. That was just perfect timing that it dropped out while I was about to talk.
No worries at all. But I have just made the introduction. So Andrew Baxter, your 3 minutes, sir, start now.
Okay, very quickly, 24-Hour Business Plan. My background was running big multinational communications firms, Ogilvy and Publicis, multiple 12 to 17 companies, 1,000 people. Always frustrated at the planning process that my multinational headquarters insisted on, that I just thought was useless and impractical. So we built a model where we co-create practical, actionable and succinct business plans for growth for companies. We do it in 4 intensive 6-hour workshop sprints, hence the 24-Hour Business Plan. We do it with your full leadership team in the room. All of us are ex-CEOs, so we joke that we're a consulting firm full of non-consultants. It's a proven framework. We've done over 200 or close to 250 companies around the world in the last 5 years across 20 verticals. The data says that around 86% of the companies we work with grow their top line in the first full financial year after they work with us. And the average growth across the year prior to working with us to the full year after they work with us, so a 2-year period, is about 32%. We've now got offices in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Singapore, and we launched in London in February, which was awesome. So that's a big part of the background. And of course, now my other computer's just died completely where I had my notes. The joys. Give me 1 second while I pull it back up. Oh, crikey, here we go. I think while I'm just, finding where my notes have gone, for me, the big part of it was just building something that was practical and actionable. It was, I think a lot of business plans end up on the shelf and just sort of get stuck there and don't end up ever being used again. And that's obviously, problematic for organizations. And that's why we built something that was sort of developed by CEOs for CEOs. Here we go, just finding my notes back. The London thing, I was mentioning to a few people earlier, my father's Scottish, so it was an easy one to sort of launch over in London as our next target. We've got a fantastic team already of five ex-CEOs over there. We do the whole thing in the room. It's like we co-create it with you. We've got a whole lot of fun exercises. I used to hate sitting in workshops, so they're all quite short, sharp exercises that we do. We work through a framework. We hand the plan over 5 minutes after you finish. The summary version is only 14 slides. The full version is about 150 slides. It's designed so the 14 slides could go into your board pack or your management meetings every month. There's no butcher's paper. There's no post-it notes. We launched it through COVID, so we built the whole thing digitally. It's all digitally captured. Mostly mid-market companies. We've done a lot of SMEs, early-stage startups. At the enterprise end, we've done big companies like NEC, NextDC, Hallmark, and multiple divisions of Ramsay Health Care and NRMA. Interestingly, on the sporting side, we've done a couple of NRL teams. We can talk about that later. So it really is built for any size business across any industry vertical. And as we say, we are literally transforming businesses with 24 hours of intensive workshop sprints.
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much, Andrew. You just went 10 seconds over, but that's fine because we were waiting for your notes. But no, that's phenomenal. Thank you so much, Andrew. And it'd be great to have some questions from the audience towards the end as well. Speaker number 7 is Mr. Sam Gilding. Sam is still with us, even though it's 6:30 in the morning over there. God bless you. Sam is the Chief Revenue Officer for a very, very exciting company out of the UK. Has been so successful in the UK that now that success has brought them here into the Australian market as well. The company's name is Viper. And Sam, your 3 minutes, sir, start now.
Hey guys, I'm Sam. As Paul says, I'm the CRO at Viper. My background's marketing, commercial, revenue leadership across data, research and technology spaces. So I joined Viper primarily because we're fixing a well-documented market problem, which is customer teams making big commercial decisions without enough insight behind them, or insight that costs too much money to create, and maybe arrived a little bit too late to be useful. So what's Viper? I guess Viper ultimately is an acronym. It stands for Validate Your Products. That's kind of what we do. We're a SaaS platform, and we provide product intelligence and consumer or shopper insights. We give customers direct on-demand access to real consumer opinion so they can test ideas, validate decisions, I guess ultimately go to market with confidence. We're much faster than traditional research and also a lot cheaper than agency work. So built for teams who need answers now rather than in 6 weeks' time. And we provide research utility across 37 global markets now. And we've actually been building the business out in Australia for the last 12 months. So the problem we keep hearing about ultimately, whether it's in the UK, Australia, US, is that teams are making big bets on product decisions, whether that's packaging, pricing, product claims, new launches, and they're either doing it, with too little insight and making sort of gut decisions, or with research that's kind of out of date and probably cost a fortune to get hold of. So traditional research in our world is slow and expensive. So when we look at how Viper helps, it's half the time, and half the cost at least. We're helping customers to connect directly to a panel of real consumers and return statistically significant results, hours and minutes. And that helps to build a really strong ROI, increase revenue, decrease opportunity costs, improve speed to market, all that kind of good stuff. And a great example would be a food and drink brand that came to us ahead of a major retail ranging meeting. 3 different packaging variants. They need to know which one would perform best on shelf. Historically, that's a 6-week process probably, and might cost upwards of $30,000-$40,000. They had the results in 48 hours, fraction of the cost. Walked into the buyer meeting confidently, knew exactly which variant they were going to back and recommend, and they won the ranging with that data-backed recommendation. So in terms of who we're looking to connect with, we work best with any consumer-facing business, particularly those in food and bev, health and beauty, personal care, retail, QSR, household products, so stuff you're buying in the supermarket. Seniority-wise, it's marketing directors, heads of insight, CMOs, commercial leads, basically anybody that makes decisions on products, pricing, promotion, packaging. Anyone really that needs to take a product to market would see value in working with Viper. And size-wise, we're most relevant to mid-market all the way through to enterprise, basically, where any product decisions have a real-world commercial consequence. So yeah, come and find me afterwards if that sounds like it might be you. Obviously, I'm on LinkedIn. So yeah, Sam Gilding at Viper. And just to say thanks to Paul, we're new members. So big thanks to the ABCC for having us and glad to be part of the community. So yeah, back to you, Paul.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sam. Wonderful session there. And yeah, as I say, very exciting what you guys have been doing in the UK, and obviously really exciting about what you're going to be doing here in Australia as well. So thank you so much. Our next speaker, who is also in the UK, so thank you so much for getting up early as well for us, is Mr. James Flavin. James is the founder and CEO of another very exciting company to recently launch here in Australia called Kite Edge. And James, your 3 minutes, sir, start now.
Well, thanks, Paul. So Kite Edge is a knowledge and analytics business that was born out of financial regulation, of all things. But that's kind of a backstory, because we've solved a very big problem, which is that we've found a way of keeping AI honest. So our view is that AI models are more or less commoditized straight across the board now, and that the value is now shifting to control. So the problem we solve is how do you help people use AI in a manner where it's there's no risks. There's no risks of you providing client information to a model party. There's no risks in hallucination. And the reason we can do that is because we got lucky. So the starting position for us was financial regulation, in that we decided to aggregate all of the knowledge that an asset manager or a wealth business gets in. So that could be internally generated by teams. It could be third party from banks, from brokers. But the problem they have is that the portfolio managers and analysts receive about 4,000 emails a day, and an email might be 40 pages long, starting by quoting Homer but it happens on the 28th page, third paragraph. There's something about a stock or a brand or a macro theme that you're interested in. So we created the perfect left side of the brain, indexing all knowledge within a graph database so that we could find connections that somebody would have alternately missed. So when ChatGPT came along, we realized very quickly that these models are like the right side of the brain. They're like going for a drink with your friends. The next day, something interesting is being talked about, but can you really trust it? And it turns out if you put the two sides of the brain together, you're in this magic situation where you can use any model for any workflow, but you can keep it honest. So we ground the responses. We enable people to effectively run multiple agents in order to get jobs done, but all within this method of working where they're defining what the AI is working against, and the responses are all grounded. So we're now at the stage where this is being proven in large organizations, and we're opening up an Australian office. Nick Fines, who's heading this office, is on the call. We're just very excited to speak to anybody that's trying to use AI in order to empower their people to do a better job, and in a safe, controllable manner. And just one little anecdote on this: we are focused on financial services currently, albeit professional services. Clearly, there's a very strong need for this. But we set up a medical AI within 2 days by connecting to the NHS's APIs. And this, without having any experience in medicine, we had an AI that, according to my sister, as a GP, was outperforming her colleagues. So this technology is really about the data sets that you connect into. Of course, if you're in an industry where it's important that you don't make mistakes, then we've solved that problem.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, James. And as you say, AI, it's definitely a huge talking point across all industry sectors right now. We're doing a lot of events around AI ourselves as well. So I'm sure that many people on the call right now will be very interested in speaking to you guys further, you and Nicholas. So thank you so much, James. Our speaker number 8 is the wonderful Ollie Matthews. Ollie is the Chief Executive Officer for a very exciting new sport here in Sydney called House of Pickle. We actually just held a fantastic event there last week. 85 of our chain members all playing pickleball. In fact, Jenny O'Sullivan was my pickleball partner for that. And I didn't help her out at all in that, but it was an absolutely phenomenal day. But Ollie, would love to hear more about obviously House of Pickle and what you guys have planned next. So your 3 minutes start now.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, look, nice to meet all you guys, even if it's virtually. I'm Ollie, so one of the founders of House of Pickle. We're currently Australia's largest dedicated pickleball facility company. We've got 10 facilities currently, with another 25 opening later this year, in the coming weeks as well, which is really exciting. So this is across Australia into New Zealand and actually through Asia as well, which will be a little bit later in the year. If you haven't played pickleball, I know obviously some of you have now. If you haven't heard about it, it's the fastest growing sport in the world. It's pretty much the only sport I've ever found that you can be 5'95", athletic, non-athletic, and you can still have a great game. You can enjoy it together, which is why the sport's just grown so quickly. House of Pickle is a little bit different than a lot of other pickleball facilities. We don't just focus on, obviously, the pickleball courts, which are important, but what we do is try and create a full atmosphere for people, where it's the hospitality side, having the bar, having the pro shop, networking events, and sort of all the entertainment wrapped into a facility. Sort of as we grow, and I think, I think you guys would have been to our Darling Harbour location, which is based here in Sydney. It's sort of our flagship one here in Sydney, with another indoor flagship opening very soon in the next coming weeks, just down the road, which will be exciting. But I think, the big thing with probably a lot of you guys is the corporate experience that we can offer here, where I think typically it's been, especially in Australia, I've seen, and I'm from New Zealand, as you can probably tell from the accent, it's usually sit at a bar, everyone gets drunk and goes home and has a hangover at work the next day. It's a bit different like that. I think people care about their health a little bit more, and people want to play sport. It's often pretty hard to find something which, you can have a 22-year-old and a 75-year-old both be able to play and have a good time together doing that, unless it's lawn bowls. So pickleball is pretty rare when it comes to that. And I think, incorporating the bar as part of that's pretty exciting. So yeah, look, if you guys have any questions and if you're interested in bring your team down, definitely get in touch with one of our team members, and we'd love to have you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ollie. And as I said, yeah, we held a wonderful event there. First time I've ever played pickleball. I think it was the first time the majority of people had played pickleball. But everybody absolutely loved it. I think, at first everybody just thought, well, it's a sort of shorter game of tennis and that was it. But no, I think just the way that it's actually run, the venue itself is beautiful. Obviously, a rooftop over there as well, so overlooking the city. And as you say, yeah, I think a couple of people may have had a couple of beers, but apart from that, everybody really got competitive and got right into it. So yeah, phenomenal. I know that a lot of our chain members are going to be getting in contact with yourself, Ollie, and more of your team about booking in some private time as well. So yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Ollie. Our final speaker, yes, you're bringing us home here, Katie. Here we go. Is Catherine Higgins, Katie Higgins. Katie is the head of corporate for a phenomenal company called Law Square, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. A great success story of an Australian business that has now expanded into the UK market as well. So, Katie, your 3 minutes start now.
Thanks so much, Paul. What an introduction. Yeah, so Katie Higgins, I head up the corporate team. I'm sure many or most of pretty much everyone's worked with lawyers before and had an absolute horror story you could tell. I actually started in the big firms as well and had a really awful experience. Absolutely hated working on billable units or time-based billing. It's an awful way to charge clients. It's an awful way to work as you're coming up and learning. So I actually left that firm and didn't know if I hated being a lawyer or hated being at the firms that I was working at that time. Many years later, I got approached by Dimitri Ozima, who's actually the founder of Law Squared, and he was at the big firms as well and wanted to create an environment where you're doing law differently. And I know that's, everyone's heard law done differently, but after close to 4 years of being Law Squareds, I can honestly say hand on heart that the way that we work is a better experience for our lawyers and for our clients. So the way that we do that is we're a fully fixed fee firm. So we work across many different areas. I head up the corporate team. So my specialty is everything from corporate structuring, shareholders agreements, shareholder disputes, capital raising, M&A, anything that falls under that company umbrella. We have a number of other practice groups, including employment, disputes and litigation, property, infrastructure, and privacy technology as well. Our firm works really flexibly as well. We work from home. We work anywhere in the world. We work whatever hours as well. So it's created a really great environment. And because of the success of that, we've just seen our 10th birthday, which was a huge success for us. And I know a lot of people on this call did come to our party down in Melbourne, which was great. We've grown to a firm of close to 60, and we've launched offices Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth most recently, and we've got an office over in London as well. So we really have that competitive edge in terms of fixed fee modeling. For me, it's from a transactional perspective. So if you're looking to capital raise, acquire a business or sell your business, we're one of the only of that mid-sized firm doing mid-sized transactions at that fixed fee price point. We also have a really great technology team as well. So we're hearing all the buzzwords about AI. We're not shying away from that. We work with our clients, whether they're using AI as well. We like to integrate that into our systems. We like to work with clients who are using AI and make it a really affordable, workable way. AI is here to change the way we practice and the way you're working as well. So we want to work with you. That's it. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kelly. That's wonderful. Well, that is the end of all of the professional, 10 speakers giving up their wonderful time to give us more insights into themselves and their company. So now is a great opportunity for the next 15 minutes or so to have some questions, obviously sent over to some of our chamber members here as well. So if you do have a question, either please raise your hand. You can put it into the chat box. Want to make it as interactive as possible. But perhaps I will kick off with the first one, and let's go to Sam Gilding over there at Viper. So obviously, Sam, we were talking before about, particularly in the sort of F&B industry, companies coming into the Australian market, going into the UK market. And I think, coming here into the Australian market is a big challenge sometimes for them to determine what is going to be the right method for them to sell their product. Are they going to go into a Coles? Are they going to go into a Bunnings? Are they going to, what would be your advice around that? And do you currently work with all of those, supermarkets or other providers as well?
So yeah, good question. We do work with a number of retailers. Obviously, I can't share exactly who those retailers are from a confidentiality perspective, but my advice is, I guess, pretty straightforward. You need to know who your consumer is and your shopper is. Those two things aren't always the same person, depending on the category that you're operating within. But I guess unless you're already supplying into a retailer, you're not going to get hold of the retailer's own scan data. So you're not going to know what's going on there as a supplier until you're actually supplying in there. So my advice would be if it's first listings or trying to build a category story that give people reasons to believe, you need to punctuate that with data. And obviously research. Shopper research, consumer research is a great proxy for some of the scan data that you buy from a Quantium if it was Woolworths, or from a different provider. It could be a Circana or Nielsen. So yeah, think about how you want to show up, make a good impression, and land the big punches with data. I think that's my advice.
Fantastic. Because now, obviously, with the free trade agreement between the UK and Australia, which obviously brought about because of Brexit and things like that as well, have you seen an increase now in companies that are selling their products in? And there was a big thing about Tim Tams and Penguins coming both ways, and now we've got Percy Pigs out this way now. And are you seeing an influx in those going over to the UK and coming here to Australia?
Yeah, we are. I mean, if you think about sort of 5 years ago when I started, we're a UK business. We're working with Marks and Spencers and Sainsbury's and a bunch of household brands that you'd know. Sort of fast forward 3 years later, we're helping customers do research in 35 global markets. And 12 months ago, we said, look, the business is booming here. There's so many businesses that are wanting to do research in Australia, and it's a great market for what we do, and potentially there's an opportunity to differentiate. So let's build the business there. And fortunately, 12 months later, we've got a bunch of customers. I'm personally over in the market. Every kind of couple of months, we just had a couple of people into CBD. We've got a lady in Geelong, we've got a lady in Perth. So I think we've made the right call, and we're definitely seeing businesses wanting to test and localize their products in different markets, either from the UK into Australia, or equally Australian businesses looking at sort of near field markets, whether that's sort of Southeast Asia or obviously Tim Tams in the UK. And I'm pleased to say I've got some of the caramel Tim Tams in my cupboards in the kitchen because they are definitely an upgrade on a Penguin for those that have not tried the Penguin.
No, fantastic. Thank you very much, Sam. And Jenny, you've got a question there for Sam as well. Do you help companies with e-commerce as well, Sam?
So we do. It's any product on display, whether that's a physical display, so it's a fixture in a retailer, for instance, or it could be a digital shelf in terms of something that businesses are selling, via direct to consumer or on Amazon. You've got to, I guess, the mindset there is that what drives the purchase decision is ultimately what you can see, read, maybe smell sometimes if you're in perfume. That's why we're not too big in perfume. So yeah, any sort of testing and optimization of what's going to go on a screen or what's going to go on a pack design, we're really relevant for that, and we've got lots of great examples of helping drive purchase consideration, ultimately increase revenue, whether that's retail or online channels.
No, fantastic. Thank you very much, Sam. And thank you, Jenny, for the question as well. Again, if anybody else has any questions, please do put them into the chat box. But maybe next I'll go to, Fred. Fred's always fantastic for a question. Now, Fred, I'm thinking that this is probably for 67 Pall Mall, correct?
I'm afraid so.
There we go.
3 quick questions for Sam. One is, where is your Sydney presence? How much does it cost? And are the same 1,000 different wine products, are they available in every club? Is it all the same, or are they all different?
So I'll start with the wine list. The wine list is ever changing. The good news is with a list of 5,000 references, as a company, we can pretty much list whatever we like. And with 1,000 available by the glass, we can open whatever we like. And we do pour 25 ml pours as the smallest pour and go up to 50 ml, 75 ml. So you can really sit down for lunch and enjoy 6 Crus of Beaujolais with your main, or taste your way through champagne. There's no limit to the way you can engage with the wine list. In terms of Sydney, we're very close to signing a lease. I can tell you it's in Circular Quay. I can give you a clue that it's a heritage building, but that's the most I can tell you. We have opened an Australia membership where if you are based outside of Melbourne, where we're physically building a club at the moment, but if you are in Sydney, we have a very limited 500 memberships with no joining fee, and you'd just be going on to a $3,500 annual fee. The full annual fee is $4,500. So there's an advantage in joining if you're outside of Melbourne. I've covered all your questions, I reckon there, Fred.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Bit
Thank you very
pricey,
much.
unless you're going to drink a lot. Does that cover everything you drink, or do you pay extra when you drink?
You pay extra, but because of the membership model, the pricing's very sensitive. So if you're looking at a list in a restaurant, maybe there's a bottle of Chablis you like the look of at $400. It's going to come in on the list of somewhere between 190 and 210 is the metric I like to use. So I can't guarantee that you'll save any money, but you will drink better.
Right.
There you go, Fred.
Thank
You
you.
will drink better.
Reach out.
Fantastic. Well, Fred is a very much a wine connoisseur himself. Hold regular wine events that I still haven't been to one as yet, Fred, but I promise I will do at some point. So
we're also, I should say, we're happy to partner on events for any of you there. And I can see, Katie, we've partnered with Law Squared and had Ray Naderson from Lethbridge involved in presenting his wines to Law Squared's audience. So we're happy to facilitate an event like that with Impact. So do reach out.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sam. Maybe I'll take, I'll do another question now. Maybe I'll go over to Scott over at Colliers. So Scott, obviously, we're out of COVID. Everybody is back to work pretty much. There's still obviously a lot of people working from home, things like that. Melbourne is still operating very separately, I guess, to what Sydney is. How are you finding the market at the moment? Are companies now looking towards reducing size that they've currently got because there is more of a working from home culture, or are people looking towards moving outside of the cities? What are you sort of finding in the market at the moment?
That's a really good question, Paul. I mean, everyone to be familiar with the word multi-speed. It's very much a multi-speed market is what we're seeing. I have to say we're not seeing clients taking reduced space. If anything, we're seeing clients wanting to increase space at the moment. Most of it, or all of our clients in the core, within the Sydney core, I'd have to say, which is from the Quay up to Martin Place, rents are going up, vacancy is tightening. Sub-markets like Barangaroo, metro markets like North Sydney, still very tenant friendly. Melbourne, I'd have to say, probably still the worst market in Australia. If you're a landlord, fantastic if you're a tenant and you're looking to extend deals or look for new premises, you'll get a cracking deal in Melbourne. And I think that's just a legacy of what's occurred during COVID and just how hard hit Melbourne was. That Melbourne's the slowest market in Australia to recover. Brisbane's recovered well. I think as far as return to office, it's over. Our view is it's over. It's like the vast majority of companies have reset their cadence for number of days for staff at work, and the expectation around when people are present in the office versus present online. We don't see that affecting real estate decisions anymore. Is probably the biggest headline for this group. And I think short to or near term, next 2 to 3 years, still be a tenant friendly market, although not as friendly as it was, because the economics of getting a new high-rise building out of the ground and the rents required to do that, the development cycle, there's really nothing happening, and other than what's coming out of the ground at the moment. Chifley South in Sydney, 55 Market or Pitt Street. The next development cycle isn't due to start until 2032 per se. So, look, it's always a good time to do a real estate deal, but if you're a tenant, it's the best time to do it now.
Yeah. And having somebody as a banker like yourself is great, Scott, because obviously when you got to go up against those landlords, it's good to have somebody in your corner, isn't it? So, absolutely.
Well, it's all about advocacy, and as I spoke about it being a multi-speed market, you need to know that things are different in Barangaroo to what they are on Pitt Street, and vastly different again to the metro markets in North Sydney, for example.
Absolutely. No, fantastic. Thank you so much, Scott. Maybe I'll go now because there's nobody else wants to ask questions just yet. I'll go to Ollie. So Ollie, you were saying, so you've got 10 sites so far, 25 more to come. I mean, global domination right now, Ollie. This is fantastic because, I mean, even when we went to the Darling Harbour venue that you got there, it seems that you've got such a loyal customer base already, which is phenomenal. Is that just grown organically for you guys, or?
Yeah, I think I think once you start playing pickleball, you'll see that people get addicted to it like no other substance on the planet, really, which is why I started the company back in the day, because my mum was addicted to it and I had no idea what it was. And figured out that it was it's a pretty good sport. But I think, look, the growth really is that Australia is just so far behind, and New Zealand as well, the rest of the world. Like in America, it's the most played sport now against any other sport in America, all ages. Australia, the data says we're about sort of 7 to 8% of where it's going to get to in Australia. So for us, it's like, when we're looking at sites and places to move to, it's again, the list is as long as there are neighborhoods in Australia at the moment. So yeah, every good place that we can get, we're taking, and growing very quickly.
Fantastic, because obviously in the UK we have paddleball over there. Now I haven't played paddleball, but that's very similar to pickleball, but more like squash, I guess, in a sense.
It is, yeah. So we do paddle as well. So a lot of facilities will have 1 to 3 paddle courts as well. Darling Harbour doesn't. Again, it's sort of more of a, I guess, the bougie upmarket version of pickleball. A bit more expensive as well. Means you can charge more, which is always nice. But it's more of a European feel to it, whereas I think pickleball is probably more a bit more Asian/American.
Yeah. And Scott, you were saying there, question, what's driving take up?
Yes, yeah, fascinated to what's the demographic around it becoming so popular so quickly.
Honestly, it's that you can be someone who's an ex-professional athlete who hasn't played sport in a long time, and they can scratch that itch that they haven't had in a while. And then you can be someone who's never had that itch scratched, who's never played a sport in their life, and they can actually come within an hour and have a full rally. Like if you look at tennis is an amazing game, but if I play with someone who's too bad or too good, it's miserable for everyone. Whereas pickleball, you don't have that issue. You can play against anybody, can have a good game, and the barrier to entry is just so low. So I think for people, it's you can play all ages, all skill levels, which is great.
No, absolutely, yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Ollie. Any other questions at the moment, or I'm going to keep going with questions? No, I'm going to keep going then. Right, there we go. Maybe I'll go to Chris over at Sydney FC. So, Chris, obviously your membership base is growing now as well. I think football has always been a strong sport, I guess in Australia, but it's challenged when you're going up against all these other codes, AFL, NRL, things like that. But obviously your membership base is growing there as well now, which is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a membership base of about 10 to 12,000 sort of paid for members at the football club, with a sort of a database of about 180,000 sort of actively opted in, engaged fans, which is fantastic. So we are growing year on year. I think, as I said earlier, our aspiration really is to go to the next level and compete at a higher level, against our Asian peers on a regular basis. And if we can do that, we will see that continue to grow. But it's a good time to be involved with the football club. Given our location, we've got great opportunities to engage with, I suppose, the world game, if you like, the likes of Tottenham Hotspur and Chelsea coming out here to Sydney in July. We're looking at other sort of international club friendlies as we enter 2027. But yeah, from a participation space, it's the most participated sport in the country. And the 8 football associations that we operate in alone, there's about 120,000 registered players, which is phenomenal in sort of 8 associations in Sydney alone.
Absolutely. I think what Sydney FC do here in Sydney itself is phenomenal. My son, he's only 6. I coach his under 7s football team, but Sydney FC are very much out into the market doing grassroots. He does a lot of development days with them, both with his school and outside of that. So it's great to see Sydney FC really concentrating on the younger uprising of football in the markets as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reach that audience. And we've got a lot of fantastic football development programs across those markets that satisfy many.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Thank you very much. And Fred, you've got a question there for Ollie. All the questions are coming to you at the moment, mate. So for Ollie, do you have any defibrillators for elderly players?
Absolutely.
That's not for you, is it, Fred?
No, it's a requirement. There has been, not on our courts, but there's been quite a few stories of people having exploded heart on the pickleball court, but not the worst way to go. Go and doing something you love.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you very much. Maybe I'll just throw one last question over to. Maybe I'll get both James and Tim. James from Kite Edge and Tim from CoEvolve on this. Obviously, as I said before, AI. It's a largely talked about subject here in Australia right now. Everybody's going on about the AI, the future of AI. In the UK, where obviously, Tim, you know the UK market very well. Obviously, James, you're over in the UK market as well. How do you feel the UK and Australia play off against each other on where they are with AI at the moment? Is Australia sort of catching up to where the UK is, or is the UK catching up to Australia is, or where's the developments there?
I think it's very hard to know because there's just so much noise around AI. You can't switch the TV on or listen to the radio without there being some story about AI. It's mostly misinformation, from what I can tell. There's just a lot of. I mean, I'll give you an example. I was in Singapore recently, and I think the average taxi driver in Singapore is more of an AI expert than our AI experts. So, yeah, so it's a big challenge. I was in Sydney recently and presenting at I better not name the company, but a lovely company with a lovely office overlooking Sydney Harbour Bridge, where there were 30 partners in the room, and they were talking and saying, "Look, we've got we've got a chatbot with 3,000 people using it. We don't need your help. It's brilliant." Yeah, and the same day there was a well-known newspaper that published a story saying that they'd used the chatbot for a government contract, and that it had made up a load of nonsense, and they had to pay £500,000 back. So we're at the stage now where every single organisation has a young team that's probably being supported by a board because finally they've got a budget to go and build something. They don't have the business experience or the tech understanding on how to do it properly, but people need to be seen to be using AI, and that's just the challenge now is trying to work out what reality is from the noise that's out there, from the fact that people are trying to manage the perception that they are engaged with AI when it's just words is very difficult. So our focus currently is all about user journeys, which is that you need to actually have AI helping people meet their objectives, helping them look smart, do a better job, spend more time with their family, whatever the incentives are for the individuals, because things are changing very, very quickly. It's all about it being a productive thing to use rather than just being seen to use it now. And I think in the last 12 months we've gone from a backdrop where everybody was in denial about it to a backdrop where they know it's not going anywhere, that they know it's going to be a big part of everybody's lives moving forward, and so now people are getting serious about how does it integrate into different business functions and what the actual benefits are.
Great. Thanks, Jim. And Tim?
Yeah, I think James makes some great points there, and we definitely concur that there's an awful lot of hype out there. So it's really essential that companies embrace it and even experiment with it. But there's some real security concerns as well. So we definitely do see the rates and style and pace of adoption varying. We've got our team spread across 4 continents, and we definitely see different themes emerging in the different markets. But definitely there's security considerations. Do companies really understand what tools are being used by all of their employees? They may have endorsed a program with Copilot or whatever it may be and have some company initiatives, but what other initiatives and tools are people using, or plugins to those tools? So there's an important notion of shadow AI, where really understanding that usage and the intent and the outcomes that are being generated by these tools, not necessarily in ways that are endorsed by the company or even visible to the company. So whilst there's
shadow AI is definitely the term. Tim, I'm sure you're seeing this as well, which is if you go into LinkedIn, every single person's publishing the fact that they're experimenting with Anthropic on some Mac Mini at home and have solved all the world's problems. But it's entirely not scalable and entirely not secure. So, these guys are being given budgets now at their organization because they've been labeled the AI guy, but they don't understand anything to do with security or infrastructure or change management. So AI is I guess it's similar to the knowledge management thing that happened 20 years ago and got autonomy in hot water, right? Which is that, people feel like they need a plan around this. Budget gets put into it. The board are all probably 5 years away from retirement, and therefore they want to be seen to be doing something, but figured that it's not going to be them. So some young lad gets the money to do it, and it's all a people problem ultimately, because the technology is there now.
Yeah, absolutely. The responsible use policies are essential, but it's also a case that we think, Paul, that the underlying connectivity for the traffic, whether that's additional AI and agentic AI and agents talking to agents, creating more traffic across the networks. It's a shift in the traffic that's traversing the enterprise networks, not dissimilar in a way to cloud being adopted heavily 10, 20 years ago, and a real fundamental shift from the traditional architectures. So we'd also encourage companies to think not just about the responsible use policies, as James is saying, but also just thinking about that connectivity that's required as underpinning these initiatives too.
Absolutely. I mean, we could go on talking about this forever. Absolutely. I know we've got other people that are asking questions here, including yourself, Evan. I'm so sorry, but we're running out of time because I want to keep to time because obviously everybody's got so many other things to do with their day. So let me take this moment to thank all of our speakers so much again for your valuable insights into your company. I would implore everybody that's on the call today and everybody that's watching this afterwards to please connect with our speakers, contact them, see how we can form partnerships, obviously open up your wonderful networks to support them in their business as well. A chamber is only as successful as the members that are in it, and how we can all help each other to achieve. So it's been absolutely wonderful session. Thank you so much again. I will be releasing everybody's all of our speakers' contact details as well, and an email to everybody. So please, yes, do get in contact privately and ask some questions there as well. Before we go, it'd be remiss of me to not say a few things about the chamber as well. So the chamber, we still do have many fantastic events coming up. We'd love to see you out. Obviously, we had our wonderful pickleball event last week. We've got tomorrow morning, we have a wonderful budget breakfast morning taking place tomorrow here in Sydney at Parliament in New South Wales. On the 14th, so on Thursday, we've got a fantastic wine tasting event taking place with National Storage in Queensland. So if you're in Queensland, get along to that. And a great darts evening in Melbourne over at Flight Club as well. We have the Lady Mayor of the Law of the City of London and the New South Wales Treasurer here in Sydney on the 26th of May. We've got our fantastic Football World Cup reception on the 4th of June in partnership with Sydney FC, and loads and loads and loads more. So please go onto our website, take a look to see what other events we have on there. If myself or if any of our team can ever be of any support to you, please let us know. But for now, it's time for me to say, if you're in the UK, have a wonderful day. Everybody else that's here in Australia, have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing you all very, very soon. But thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, guys.